Have you ever wondered what happens when we draw our final breath? A question that has echoed through the ages, across civilizations and cultures, stirring the deepest corners of the human mind. It's the great unknown, the ultimate frontier of our understanding, the afterlife. What is it? Where do we go? Do we even go anywhere at all? The notion of life beyond death has been a universal curiosity, a shared puzzle that has led to the birth of countless philosophies, beliefs and narratives. Some posit the existence of a soul, a spiritual essence that transcends our physical being. Some speak of paradise, a heavenly realm ruled by divine entities. Others suggest reincarnation, a cyclical journey of life, death and rebirth. Each perspective offering a unique lens through which to view the intricate tapestry of life and death. A complex weave of faith, hope, fear and wonder. Join us as we delve into this fascinating mystery, exploring the myriad perspectives on the afterlife. The ancient Egyptians had a particularly elaborate view of the afterlife. Their beliefs were deeply rooted in the notion of immortality, with death seen as a mere transition rather than an absolute end. The soul, or Ka as they called it, was believed to embark on a journey fraught with challenges and trials, navigating through the underworld. This journey led to the Hall of Ma'at, the goddess of truth and justice. Here, the heart of the deceased was weighed against the feather of Ma'at. If the scales balanced, the soul was deemed worthy of eternal life. However, if the heart was heavier, symbolizing a life of sin, it was devoured by the fearsome beast, Amit. The Egyptians believed that those who passed this test would rejoin their physical bodies to live forever in the field of reeds, an idyllic mirror of their earthly life. So, for the Egyptians, death was not an end, but a complex journey to eternity. Turning to the East, we find a different perspective altogether. Eastern philosophies, specifically Hinduism and Buddhism, offer a fascinating take on the afterlife. Instead of the linear concept of life and death, these philosophies propose a cyclical view, a ceaseless round of birth, death and rebirth known as samsara. The concept of reincarnation is central to these philosophies. It's believed that the soul, or Atman, is eternal and transcends physical death. After the demise of the body, the soul embarks on a new journey, reborn into a new life form. This cycle of birth and rebirth continues indefinitely, influenced by the law of karma. Karma, a Sanskrit term meaning action or deed, is the moral law of cause and effect. Every action, every decision we make has consequences that shape our future, both within this life and in the ones to follow. Good deeds lead to positive outcomes, while harmful actions result in suffering. In essence, we are the architects of our own destiny. But the cycle of samsara is not an eternal sentence. Both Hinduism and Buddhism propose a way out of this perpetual churn. The ultimate goal is liberation, or moksha in Hinduism and nirvana in Buddhism. This state of liberation is achieved when the soul has evolved through learning and spiritual growth, shedding the veil of ignorance and finally breaking free from the cycle of samsara. Moksha or nirvana is described as a state of supreme peace, unblemished bliss, and unity with the divine. It's a transcendence beyond worldly desires, beyond suffering, beyond the cycle of birth and death. It's a journey from the finite to the infinite, from the transient to the eternal. In the East, death is not a finality, but a transformative process, a moment of transition. It's not an end, but a new beginning, a step in the soul's journey towards ultimate liberation. In the East, death is seen not as a final destination, but a stop along the journey of the soul. The monotheistic religions of Christianity, Islam and Judaism present yet another view. Let's delve into the Christian perspective first. Christianity teaches the concept of an immortal soul. Upon death, this soul is believed to be judged by God, the omnipotent and omniscient deity. Those who have lived virtuous lives following the teachings of Jesus Christ are said to ascend to heaven, a realm of eternal peace and joy. Conversely, those who have sinned without seeking redemption are condemned to hell, a place of eternal suffering and separation from God. In Islam, the concept of the afterlife is also deeply ingrained. Muslims believe in the Day of Judgment, when every soul will be held accountable for their actions on earth. The merciful Allah, the one true God, will then decide the eternal destiny of each soul. Paradise, or Jannah, is a place of unimaginable beauty and bliss promised to the righteous. Hell, or Jahannam, is a fire-filled abyss reserved for those who have transgressed against the divine law. Judaism, the oldest of these monotheistic religions, offers a somewhat less defined view of the afterlife, while it does hold the belief in the immortal soul. The focus is more on living a righteous life here on earth. The concept of heaven and hell exists, but it is not as explicitly detailed as in Christianity or Islam. Instead, there is a belief in a divine judgment and the eventual resurrection of the righteous. Yet, despite the differences, a common thread weaves through these monotheistic religions: the idea of judgment and a final destination based on one's earthly actions. And it's this belief in an immortal soul, a part of ourselves that continues on, that shapes the way followers of these faiths view life, death, and the afterlife. For followers of these faiths, the afterlife represents the ultimate reward or punishment for earthly deeds. Not everyone believes in an afterlife, however. This is a crucial premise that shapes the secular perspectives on death and the afterlife. Here we explore viewpoints stemming from atheism and agnosticism, among others, that offer a different perspective on life, death, and what follows, if anything. For atheists, the concept of an afterlife is often seen as a comforting myth, a human attempt to mitigate the fear of the unknown, the fear of non-existence. From this perspective, when life ends, consciousness ends. The lights go out. There's no heaven, no hell, no reincarnation, just the finality of death. It's a perspective that doesn't shy away from the stark reality of mortality, but rather embraces it. Agnostics, on the other hand, maintain a position of uncertainty. They neither affirm nor deny the existence of an afterlife. It's not so much a rejection of the idea as it is an admission of not knowing. The agnostic stance is often summed up in the phrase, "We can't know for sure." So, while they may not entirely rule out the possibility of an afterlife, they also don't claim it as a certainty. But what does this mean for the way one lives their life? Well, for secular individuals, these viewpoints often lead to a heightened emphasis on the present, on the tangible, on the here and now. Without the promise of an afterlife, every moment becomes precious. Every second counts. Life's meaning is not deferred to an afterlife, but is found right here in our earthly existence. This perspective encourages individuals to live fully, to love deeply, to act kindly, not in anticipation of a heavenly reward or in fear of divine retribution, but simply because these are worthy pursuits in and of themselves. It's a perspective that sees beauty in the impermanence of life, that finds nobility in the human struggle to make sense of our existence and to make our time count. For these individuals, life's meaning is derived from the here and now, with death marking the end of the journey. So, what can we conclude from all these perspectives? After exploring a spectrum of beliefs and theories, it's clear that the concept of the afterlife is as diverse as the human race itself. From the pyramids of ancient Egypt to the reincarnation cycle of Eastern philosophies, from the heaven and hell dichotomy of monotheistic religions to the existential pondering of secular perspectives, each viewpoint offers a unique lens through which we perceive the enigma that is the afterlife. Ancient Egyptians viewed the afterlife as a continuation of life on earth, a belief manifested in their elaborate burial rituals and the grandeur of their tombs. A stark contrast to this is found in Eastern philosophies, where the soul is believed to be reborn in a cycle of death and rebirth until it achieves enlightenment, breaking free from this perpetual cycle. Monotheistic religions, on the other hand, present a binary realm of the afterlife, heaven and hell. The soul's placement in either realm is determined by the moral conduct of the individual during their earthly existence. A different perspective is offered by secular thinkers who propose that the afterlife may simply be an end, a cessation of consciousness, challenging the very existence of the soul. Each of these viewpoints, while different, are linked by a common thread, the quest for understanding what lies beyond the veil of death. This great debate, this relentless quest for answers, is a testament to our shared curiosity and our innate desire to understand the unknown. Despite the myriad of theories and beliefs, there is no definitive answer, no universally accepted truth about what happens to us when we die. The afterlife remains shrouded in mystery, a puzzle that mankind has been trying to solve since the dawn of consciousness. Regardless of one's beliefs, the afterlife remains one of the greatest mysteries of human existence, a question that perhaps we may only truly answer in our final moment.